So here's the controversy facing tackle football today. A recent study on deceased NFL football players shows that 87 of 91 tested former football players were found to have signs of chronic traumatic encephalopathy. That's roughly 96% of all tested subjects. What this shows is that eventually tackle football equals CTE. And what makes that such a scary thing is the definition of CTE, which is CTE is a disease that, after repetitive subconcussive hits to the head, which may or may not be symptomatic, results in a progressive decline of memory and cognition, as well as depression, suicidal behavior, poor impulse control, aggressiveness, Parkinsonism, and eventually dementia. Now that's a tough definition to grasp on the fly, but what you need to know is this. 1. It's not good. And 2. More and more science is proving that, as opposed to prior belief, children are more likely to be affected by brain injuries than adults. The doctor who discovered CTE had this to say about its effects on children. Children have a risk of manifesting symptoms of CTE like major depression, memory loss, suicidal thought and actions, loss of intelligence, as well as dementia later in life. Taking that into consideration, one would assume Pop Warner football is adapting to the science, right? Wrong. In fact, kids who play Pop Warner football today are subjected to 3.7 head impacts per game, as well as 1.5 head impacts per practice. That means that these kids are likely to receive around 10 head impacts a week, 40 head impacts a month, and 480 head impacts a year. So what does it all mean? Essentially, the argument I'm making is this. There's a broken system currently in place where the safety of professional athletes are being taken care of before the safety of children. Rule changes are made from the NFL down as opposed to children all the way on up. We have to consider the message we're sending to kids and the rest of the world about our society. As Dr. Bennett Omalu, the doctor credited with the discovery of CTE, puts it, we have a legal age for drinking alcohol, for joining the military, for voting, for smoking, for driving, and for consenting to have sex. We must have the same when it comes to protecting the organ that defines who we are as human beings. The end game is this. For every other potentially self-deprecating action an individual can take part in, there is an age of consent determined by law. Why should football be any different?